All right, y'all, we are live. This is Deep, Pastor G. We're going to push this out. It's live with the Forward podcast. So y'all should be hearing me live online right now. This is Pastor G. I'm down at the tent. Praise God for you. If you are on listening right now, there should be a way that you can send me a message. Just so y'all know, I'm watching. I got a little chat box up, so you can send me. I'm sending y'all a message right now. Send me a message. Okay, so you're probably seeing that message, and that means it's coming from me, and I'm waiting on y'all to talk back to me. All right. Praise God for you. Again, I'm down here at the tent with two gentlemen who I believe are going to be a blessing to all those who are listening. We'll be on for a good little while. I've already let you all know that if there's anyone who's around who desires to share their solutions for the community via the Forward podcast, you can certainly give us a holler. And come down to the tent. We can get you scheduled, and it's all good. It's all gravy. We make it happen. So I have two gentlemen here with me today that I think, again, it will be a blessing that we're going to talk a little bit about how to reintegrate people into society to ensure that everyone has their rights protected, or able to do the things, what we call their inalienable rights. All of us have them, and because of that, there should be nothing that should be able to keep someone from reaching their goals, their aspirations, and their dreams. And so we're going to talk to two gentlemen who are going to help us understand a little bit more about that. I want y'all to take a minute to introduce yourselves briefly, and then we'll get into a little conversation.
How y'all doing? My name is Charles Blacknell. I'm 52 years old. I'm from Gary, Indiana. Just moved here to Indianapolis about a few weeks ago. I got introduced by the pastor through one of my cousins. So, he was telling me about the good cause that the pastor do around the city. So I'm here to support the pastor in any means.
Good morning. My name is Mark Harmon. Good morning. My name is Mark Harmon. I'm also from Gary, Indiana. Been here in Indianapolis for about a year. First came here, got introduced to the pastor through my brother, and seeing the things they was doing here, and I'm standing with him and trying to make things happen for a better place we could live in the community and for each other.
All right, so everybody's got your name. Again, if y'all got a message, I want to talk or ask them anything, feel free to jump on at any time and send us a message, and we will do the best we can to get your questions answered. Let's in order for people to really understand who we're talking to, here's what I believe. I believe that people can't move forward.
I sat there all them years and I wondered what's going to happen once I get out, which is try to help the kids in a better growth and development to help them understand what life is really all about. I had what I consider a good life. I can't get mad about the things that happened to me during the course of my life, but as I said before, I come up from a background where I had both parents. My father died almost 20 years ago, but it's one thing I can say. I was raised under a roof with both parents, and both parents always been there for me. But my parents always told me, once you leave the house, you got to be able to adduct yourself in a better position, or the same way you been in the house.
Okay, I got. Let me hit that real quick I'm gonna. Okay, do that. Mark. I'm sorry. I got to get y'all straight. Mark, Charles, Mark. Talk. You heard what I asked him about dealing with some of your deepest challenges in order to move forward. What has that been like for you? How have you been able to face some of your deepest challenges in order to move forward?
Well, this was Mark. Well, I been there for 50 years, on this earth for 50 years. And unlike my cousin, he had both parents in his household. I could feel a lot of ones might be fathers or might just have a single mother. Right. And, you know, and the challenge, especially for young boys trying to, you know, say a woman can't teach a boy to become a man. But, you know, there are a lot of challenges for especially male, black males coming up in this world with no father figure to look up to. But the mother or whoever up under the roof, you know, first you got to give them respect regardless. They might not understand you as coming up, you know, and you got to find yourself. The only way you find yourself is put yourself getting to somewhere to buy yourself or to find yourself and put yourself around individuals that's got constructive, got things on the head and motivated to do things in life instead of being destructive, per se, or looking out to get a name for themselves or whatnot. I mean, people have their own gifts in themselves. They have to find themselves in order to know what their gifts is to share for others or whatnot. Whether you are an artist or a rapper or whatever, football player or anything, even a pastor or whatnot. You know, whatever you decide you want to do in life, you know, you stick to them. Don't nobody change your mind about it or nothing. But one thing for sure, though, always respect the elders on wherever roof you live under. You know, a lot of things don't change, you know, where as far as you say can't discipline your children or nothing like that. You know, people holler about the children are bad and things like that, but sometimes you have to know where the children get these things from, these their characters and their ways, and what it could be from TV, could be, like you said, lack of support in the household or whatever else, but be around the wrong group of people, they ain't know where to go but lead to self-destructions and whatnot.
All right, so we got some parents that are listening, and these parents are saying, whether, you know, I'm assuming what you're saying is that you didn't grow up with mother and father in the house. You're saying you did. That's awesome, because I need to help some parents who are out there saying, you know, I understand respect and I understand walking with your head up and I understand figuring out your gifts, but right now I'm dealing with a knucklehead and everything I'm saying is not making sense. Can you, one of you or both of you, one at a time, sort of help to first of all characterize what's really going on in that kid's head? And we can't do a blanket, we realize that, but let's try to help some parents out who are looking and they don't understand. It's like we got two parents, right? We working or whatever. Help characterize for them what they're dealing with a child who may not be in the place where we are today.
I'd like to say this, Charles Blacknell again. First and foremost, you know, a lot of kids face a lot of peer pressure, day in and day out. And that's the main objective. Me, myself, I used to be that knucklehead, so I can identify with all of it. But the bottom line is, yes, peer pressure it goes a long way. You know, a lot of kids feel like if they don't present themselves the way their other friends do, that they go lose all type of friendship or whatever. But the bottom line is to identify that is to really sit down and talk to the kid. But, you know, that's easy said than done. But sometimes you got to find that right conversation just to bring that kid about. You know, no matter what. You know, everybody got a lane that they got to play in. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is it's always somebody out there to be able to reach whoever. But right now, like I say, I just moved here to Indianapolis. I just met the pastor a few days ago. And if any help, you know, by any means, get in touch with the pastor. Because like I say, I've been there. I've been in prison for 20 years. I did 20 years. And, you know, I've been around a bunch of knuckleheads. And like I say, I used to be a knucklehead myself. I ended up getting out of prison. I made a positive position in my life. I ended up getting out of prison, and I ended up working for the Department of Corrections. So, you know, I've been around knuckleheads all my life, and I do understand. Do you got anything you want to say, Mark?
About what's going on in these kids' head to help these parents?
You know, also this Mark again. I understand, especially a lot of peer pressure, like Cuz said, peer pressure nowadays, and everybody went through it, whether it's female, male, boys, little girls, boys, whatever. But I'm saying, to parents, to knuckleheads, I mean, some things, like you say, peer pressure, sometimes it's best to listen to the child and see what's coming up out of his mouth and understand, or his or her mouth, and understand instead of yelling or voicing and whatnot. Just get a grasp of understanding and walk them. Some people would be scared to like, say, for instance, talk about sex, or just use that, for instance. A child might be scared to come to the parent. You shouldn't have to, you should make them relax to come talk to you, because if they can't come talk to you, they're going to get the wrong information from somewhere else. You should be able to talk to your children, allow your children to talk to you, and listen to what I have to say. Or if they don't, they're going to end up getting it from somewhere else, and then going to be wrong directions.
It's Charles again. I wanted to say, and I wanted to say this before I forget. First of all, a lot of parents end up trying to be their kids' friends, and that's the major big mistake that you ever can make in life. See, back then when I was growing up, that wasn't possible. Me trying to be my parents' friends, because they wasn't having it. I was their son. You know, that was the bottom line. And that was their child, so it was the bottom line. Whatever they say, go. But we talking about a different era. It's the era of the day. Like I say, parents are always trying to be friends with their kids. They smoking blunts with their kids. They going clubbing with their kids, you know. And you wonder why they doing the things that they do. You know, because like I say, it's sometimes we can be their biggest enemy. Believe it or not, we can be their biggest enemy. I've been around all types of sorts of people in my 52 years of living on this earth. And I'm telling you, I can identify anything come my way. But the bottom line, when you're talking about a knucklehead kid, only thing, basically, you got to get that kid an objective. You know, you got to get that kid something to look forward to doing during the course of the day or whatever. You got to be able to sit down and talk to that kid. If you can't reach that kid, I'm quite sure somebody else that you might can call, or just say, hey, could you come and talk to Darren, or come talk to Larry for me? Me, personally, yeah, you can call me, because I can talk to anybody. Believe me, I can talk to anybody, whether they listen or not. But before I get done with them, believe me, they'll listen, because I lived that life, and I've been in that life. And I refuse to allow myself to be around somewhere or somebody and let themselves end up being that destroy their whole life. You know, I got a passion to help people, and that's what I'm on. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do. You know, because I've seen a lot of kids come through the juvenile center, come through the work release center while I was working there, and you know, I talked to them. You know, I try to get them some type of idea about what's going on with themselves, not with me or not with life, but with themselves. Because you got to start with yourself first before you do anything. You know, you got to be able to identify what's going on with yourself. If you can't do that, then I don't know what to tell you. But like I say, I'm here to help.
So for those who are listening now, I want to, kind of give y'all a heads up of what Charles and I have already been talking about. We've already been talking about parents who have children who are incarcerated even now, Marion County lockup, juvenile. If you've got children who are in that situation and you're empty, you don't have no more words, you're frustrated, you're tired, you might be like my man said, you made it clear. You can't be yelling at the kids, hollering at the kids, and some of y'all are so frustrated that you don't have no more tears left, you don't have no more words left, and you need somebody to talk to your young people who understand their mindset. What we want y'all to do, first of all, I need two things. I need people who are willing to donate some funds to put on our phone card, right? To put on our phone, so that if somebody needs their young person to call us, we can accept the phone call, all right? And people like Charles, people like Mark, and we got another young man came in just yesterday who said he was willing to be on the phone. We'll set up a schedule. When they're here, they can call and they can actually get an answer. If you find out what that young person is interested in, you got to jump on that. You got to get them involved in some stuff. But you don't know until you talk to them and say, what are you interested in? What do you like doing? And sometimes it takes people like Mark, Charles, Pastor G, and others to sit back and watch a kid long enough and say, you see what he just did? Did you see what he just said? Did you hear what he just wrote? Did you? And when we see them doing good things, we jump on it. Man, let's get that boy a nice drawing pencil. Let's get him something that he can do. Let's get that girl a place where she can write her poetry. Let's give them a stage where they can do spoken word.
Oh, they can sing.
They can sing, yeah. Let's make sure that they're in Little League, or let's make sure they're playing football or basketball or baseball. Got something in their hand that work that energy out. Paintbrush, yeah. Something. That's our jobs as adults. Is to look at them, watch them, see them do something, jump on it. So I just want y'all to know we are setting this thing up. We're here for the parents. We're here for the young people, but we cannot do it by ourselves. Y'all got to step up, step out from behind the shadows, come down to the tent. Let us know that you got a young person that really needs a phone call. They really need somebody to answer, and they need somebody to talk to. Like Charles is saying, he knows what's going on in their head, right? Mark knows what's going on in their head. Mark understands. He grew up in a house where he didn't have two parents. You ain't the first one. You're not going to be the last. But make sure that you got people around you who you can call on when you ain't got nothing else to say, who can talk to your young people. You got some young people that's acting crazy and you afraid they're going to kill somebody or get killed themselves, then come in here and set up some time to sit down with Charles and let them sit there. They want to mean mug them? Let them mean mug Charles. Charles don't have to. Look, I'm looking at the brother. I'm looking at Charles. All right? Charles will mean mug them back. Okay? He will mean mug them back. No, I'm just kidding, but y'all feel what I'm saying. So here's what I want to get to as well. He's laughing, but I want to get to this. Mark, I'm gonna come to you because you had mentioned. Okay, it's like, okay, it's cool that we have matured to a level where we understand, the sort of the right roads to take today. But again, let's go back in our minds and do a rewind and say, what would it have taken for you to have made better choices? I mean, what is that thing? And it may be a couple things that if I had a chance to do it again, I would have done X. What is X for you? And I'm not saying that you're not appreciative of your journey. I'm just saying, like, I know for me, I had a scholarship to Purdue University, a mathematics scholarship. If I had a chance to do it, I didn't know. I said, where's Purdue? What is that? I didn't know that I had a gift in math because nobody told me I had a gift. I knew I got my work done quicker than everybody else. I knew I got good grades in math, but I didn't know what that meant. So when I took a test and they gave me a scholarship, I said, I don't know what that is. And I didn't even take it. Had I known that Purdue was a major engineering school and that what I could do with a math scholarship, maybe I'd have done something different. But I didn't know. You follow? But if I could do it again, I'd have been like, oh, snap. Yeah, I'm doing that. You feel what I'm saying? What thing do you think, if you had a chance to do it again, that could have made a difference in your life, what would it have been? And I'm coming to you next. You already know. I see you.
Well, I think one of the things I believe it was like football. Had I had a chance to play football, I didn't stick with it because peer pressure.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the peer pressure? Pressuring you to do?
I'll tell you. Peer pressure. Stop and listen to this. Put yourself first. Love yourself and put yourself first. And in high school or whatever, I'm gonna be chasing after little tails. That's okay. Right there. I'm chasing after tails and could turn my whole thing around. I could have been continuing school or high school on football and everything else. Matter of fact, my brother, he went through all that.
Wow.
Yeah, I could have been up there with him, but I ended up chasing after skirts instead. And I wish I had done that.
Wow. That's 100. All right.
This Charles again. Me personally, a lot of people say they don't like going in their past, but I do, because it keep me humble. And the reason why it keep me humble, because really I wouldn't change nothing. I wouldn't change nothing, but, you know, I was a good athlete, basketball, football, and basketball. You know, played for a couple schools, but didn't play for my high school. And it was guys that played for my high school, which was Westside High School in Gary, Indiana, that I was outshining them all day, every day. But I was on something totally different. You know, I was on that, what you call materialistic stuff.
Gotcha.
You know, I was watching the pimps and the players and everybody. I wanted to be just like them. So, you know, growing up, trying to do what a child's supposed to do, I wasn't a part of that. You know, I grew up kind of quick, even though, you know, we spoke about me being in a household with both of my parents. But let me clarify something. I was in a household with both of my parents till I turned 18. I ended up going to prison. From 18 all the way up to 40, wow. I was on my own. So I didn't have no parents. I had support.
Did you feel like you were rebelling against something, or you felt like you know? I mean, what? They were there, yet what was it?
First and foremost, like I say, my father, he worked in the mill since I was born. I was born in 1964. And like I said, my father died in 1998. So to make a long story short, my father always been there for us. But, you know, like, we didn't want for nothing. But when I left that household, like I say, going around Johnny and whoever, they didn't have the father figures like I had. So, you know, Johnny and them, they out there, they grinding. They getting what they getting all that glamour stuff. And I'm looking at this glamour stuff like, woo, I can get it, but how long is it going to take me to get it? From my parents. So
your parents had you on discretion.
Right.
It was like, you can get it.
Right,
but
you're going to have to wait.
Work for it.
So I wanted it a little bit more quicker. But to make a long story short, like I say, I never, me personally, get mad about what happened because I was a misguided missile. You know, so God set me down for 20 years that made me realize he was greater than anything on this earth. And I realized that. But to make a long story short, I don't regret nothing that I did in life because it made me a better person when I got sent away. So that's why right to the day, you know, like I said, I can identify with anything and everything when it comes to misguided kids. You know, so me personally, like I say, I don't live in my past, but I do because it keeps me humble.
I think you were jiving with the whole materialistic thing.
Yeah, this basically he sums it up with the back in the days when you had like the Mac and all that stuff around then and whatnot. Like I said, once was up there, you know, females, you know what I'm saying? But I'm sitting back thinking, you asked me the question, you know, things happen for a reason. If a person didn't go through the things that they go through, they probably wonder, you know, like I say for instance, how can somebody teach, this ain't no racism, I'm just using this for example. How can teacher, number of white teachers teach a black person anything they never been through, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I've been to school, certain schools, you know, and they was telling me certain things. I really wasn't feeling it. For my instinct was telling me this ain't right. But everybody, you got to go listen to the listener that didn't come fan after all these years. I was right all along. I'm not saying I'm better or nothing. I'm just saying you got to weigh out what's telling the truth. Like, for instance, I'm not trying to toss something out there. I knew Christopher Columbus didn't discover no America, but they forced this type of stuff to you in school. So what I'm saying, it takes the ones that actually, how can somebody believe, okay, we believe in things when they teach us coming up in school, but come find out, it was fear. A lot of them was fear, so we had to find somebody with direct truth. Nowadays, people could easily go out and get truth and teach them. But if we teach them the same old thing that once been taught, of course things going to be backwards. Go along with the when they say don't discipline your children. Mm-hmm. It ain't the children that's bad. It's the fact that parents getting scared that children going to call the police on them and whatnot because they put this law, you can't put your hands on your children. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, say spare around spoil a child. That's the same difference. But if your parents don't get a hold to them, the police and everybody that's going to get a hold to them and put their hands on them probably worse. So really, it's about what you're teaching the children nowadays and whatnot. That's what's really messing the things up.
Let me clarify something. See, it's just like sending a doctor into a county jail and trying to talk to a troubled child or troubled teens. Mm-hmm. They can't identify with that doctor because the doctor's in a different atmosphere.
Speaks a different language.
Speaks a different language, a whole different language. Mm-hmm. You know, so like I say, everybody got a lane that they need to attend to. You know, and me personally, I'm gifted in a lot of areas. But this is one area that I feel that I'm gifted in, is trying to identify or trying to help the teenagers or the young youth to be more positive about what's going on with themselves in life. Because first and foremost, you got to understand what's going on with you first. Then before you realize what's going on with you first, then you got to make a move to be able to identify what's next.
Okay, so, all right, and you know, many people hear me talk about that. You know, when you get on the airplane, they always tell you on the airplane, you know, in case of cabin pressure, the cabin pressure drops, these little things will fall from the top of the airplane, and they tell you to administer it on yourself before you administer on a child next to you. For a long time, that messed with me, because my instinct would be to protect my child before I protect myself. But for us, we need to understand that applies in a lot of areas, meaning that you can't help somebody else until you first make sure you're good. And that's what I think I hear you saying. Let me drive this in a slightly different direction, because I hear you all saying, learn from your experiences, right? What you've been through. You wouldn't take nothing for your journey. I get that. But there's some folk that seem like they ain't learned from it, or that they're not using their journey to be a blessing to somebody else. They're basically, like a man told me out here on the street the other day, F everybody. If they ain't on what I'm on, F them. That's where he put it. Okay? That's where he is. He's like, God knows me. God knows where I am. If they ain't what I'm on, F them. So to me, that's somebody who says, whatever I learn, if it don't help me, I could care less about whether or not it helps anybody else. What do you say to that next person who has gone through what you've been through, but they haven't figured out that you're supposed to learn from what you've been through so you be a better person to pour into somebody else? What do you say to that person who just says F it to everybody? I see.
You know, basically me, I wouldn't say too much to that person who say F everybody. The reason why is because, you know, he's so stuck in his ignorance. So therefore, if you know, you got to lead by example. Maybe if he continue to come around and he see positive things coming out of you, then he might be like, hey, sir, could I sit back and can I talk to you for a minute? Then there it is. But me personally, you know, you can't save everybody. And you ain't going to be able to save everybody. But I try to lay up here and be positive around any and everybody I be around. Because, you know, like I say, you got to lead by example. Because if you don't, something that you might do somewhere during the course of the week, and somebody might pull you over and say, hey, you talking positive, but what's going on? What you just did just here? So, you know, you got to stay focused on what you do.
Well, I've been hearing a lot of people saying use the F or F you and F everybody. I see that, but them type of individuals, like you said, you can't say everybody. You know, you have to know what you want in life. First, you gotta love yourself to order to love anybody else. That individual, you probably don't love yourself, you know. But it's something that ones to think about sometimes before you branch out and do things, or out to trying to harm or trying to do harm from somebody or to somebody. Never know, it could be somebody. You sit there and think about what you want somebody to do something to you, your loved ones, whether it be your mother, your brother, or your sisters, before you take that next step of doing anything. And as far as talking to people a certain way, you know, people don't have their characters, F, U, B's and all that, but at the same time, you will go around and get mad if somebody else do some of that same thing to your loved ones. Call them B's or F you or put their hands on them or whatnot. Then again, this world's so small, it could be somebody, your cousin that you shot or something. You never even know. Because back in the days, Papa used to be a Rolling Stone. You never know. Then you're doing slave. You never know. You know what I'm saying? These things you need to think about before you decide to do anything. And then ask yourself, if somebody did my sister like that, my brother or my mother, how will I feel? You know what I'm saying? You got to treat others like you want to be treated. You got to love others like you love yourself. If you don't love yourself, of course, you know. Yeah. If somebody would love you, but you have to love yourself.
Yeah. So basically what I hear you saying is something that I really hope that people are really listening to, and that is live right in front of people. know that whoever you're dealing with, you could be entertaining an angel, right? You never know. People who are hurting, oftentimes, they don't want you to know they're hurting. And so they will act out in ways, or what we call, I don't know if y'all heard this term, hypermasculate, right? And what they really doing is they afraid. They don't know, right? They're in fear. So in order for me to balance out my fear, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta have something that scares you, so that I don't fear, because I put fear in you. And the bottom line is, they just want to see you and me live right in front of them, so that one day they say, man, what is it about you, man? What makes you tick, man? What makes you so positive, bro? What makes you, what makes you care about people, man? I don't care about people, but I want to care about people, and the only person I see doing it is you. So how? And that's when you got them. That's when you got them. Y'all been a blessing, man. We've been on for about 30 minutes. I'm going to call it quits for right now. Anytime y'all want to come back and share this is going to be transcribed, okay, this conversation, so that I can always go back to this conversation and we can pull out information. And if y'all want it, you can pick up a copy of it. It'll be, our dialogue here today, because I believe that for the fact that we may have spent 30 minutes sharing, this is 52 years worth of information in 30 minutes. 50 years worth of information in 30 minutes that could help somebody keep from putting in 20, right? Just by taking 30 minutes and listening. That deep? All right, y'all. Y'all keep up with the Forward Podcast. We'll be doing it again. Keep your eyes and ears on it. If you need anything, again, we want to see y'all down at the corner. God bless y'all. We'll chat. Peace.